You know, Madison, you're really lucky I handle all the finances. Numbers just aren't your thing. Derek's voice carried across our living room, loud enough for Alex and his wife to hear. He laughed, that practiced corporate laugh I'd heard 1,000 times. Alex joined in. I smiled and refilled their wine glasses. It was easier that way. That was 3 years ago. Tonight, I'm standing in the bathroom of Atelier Lorraine, the most expensive restaurant in San Francisco, smoothing down my red dress. Derek hates this dress. He's told me 100 times that red is too attention-seeking for a woman my age. That's exactly why I'm wearing it. In my clutch is a single piece of paper. Divorce papers, already signed by me. In the coat check, there's a black leather portfolio that weighs maybe 2 pounds but carries the weight to destroy everything Derek has built. But I'm getting ahead of myself. 10 years ago, I married Derek Ashford thinking I'd found my partner. He was ambitious, confident, successful. I was 24, fresh out of grad school with a degree in financial analysis, ready to build a career. Derek was 28 and already climbing the corporate ladder at Ashford & Chen, the wealth management firm his family had founded. The first year was good. Normal. He supported my career, I supported his. We were a team. Year 2, small things started shifting. Why are you working so late? I make enough for both of us. That promotion sounds stressful. Are you sure you want it? Your colleagues seem kind of boring. We should spend more time with my work friends. By year 3, I turned down 2 promotions because Derek convinced me the stress wasn't worth it. My college friends had stopped inviting me out because I'd canceled so many times. Derek's friends became our friends. Derek's choices became our choices. It's just easier this way, he'd say. I have more experience with these things. Year 4. He suggested I quit my job entirely. Why are we paying for 2 commutes? 2 work wardrobes. You could consult from home. Part-time. When you want to. I didn't want to. But Derek had already told his parents I was thinking about it. His mother called to say how wise it was to focus on family planning. His father offered to set up a little home office for me. I kept my job. That's when the comments started. Not mean, exactly. Just constant reminders that I was somehow less than. You forgot to pick up my dry cleaning? I thought you left work early today. This chicken is a little dry. My mom's recipe always turns out perfect. You're wearing that to the company gala? Each comment alone was nothing. Deniable. But together, over months and years, they formed a pattern. A pressure. A slow erosion of everything I thought I was worth. By year 7, I'd stopped arguing. Stopped suggesting. Stopped having opinions that differed from his. It was just easier. Derek's business partner, Alex Chen, was worse. Where Derek was subtle, Alex was obvious. He'd openly joke about upgrading when wives hit 40. He'd rate women's appearances in front of his own wife, Jessica, like she wasn't even there. And Derek would laugh along, never once defending me or Jessica. Come on, Maddie. You know we're just kidding, Derek would say if I looked uncomfortable. Why are you so sensitive? I learned not to look uncomfortable. Year 8, I overheard them at Derek's birthday party. I was coming back from the bathroom when I heard Derek's voice from his office. 10-year mark, that's the magic number, Alex was saying. Standard upgrade time frame. Derek laughed. Jessica's got 5 more years to shape up then. I'm serious though. You ever think about it? We're about to hit our peak earning years. Why settle? Madison's fine. She doesn't ask questions, doesn't make waves. Could be worse. Could be better though, right? I mean, she doesn't even work anymore really. What does she do all day? I worked full-time. I'd never quit. But Derek had been telling people I was semi-retired for 2 years. She works, Derek said, but his tone was defensive, like he was embarrassed. She's just not ambitious about it. Not everyone needs to be a shark like us. I stood in the hallway, hand on the door frame, and something in me crystallized. Not anger yet. Something colder. Clearer. I walked back to the party and smiled for 3 more hours. The next Monday, I went to work and didn't tell Derek I was taking on a new project. Our firm had a forensic accounting division. I'd never worked in it, but I asked to transfer. Told them I wanted a new challenge. My manager was surprised but approved it. I started training in fraud detection, financial crimes investigation, pattern recognition. I was good at it. Really good. Turns out, All those years of analyzing Derek's behavior had taught me to spot patterns. Year 9, Derek started taking more business trips. He'd come home with expensive hotel receipts that didn't quite match his expense reports. Restaurant bills for two when he claimed he'd eaten alone. Charges at jewelry stores I'd never seen jewelry from. I didn't confront him. I documented everything. Then I started looking at Ashford and Chen's books. Not because I was looking for anything specific. Just because I could. Because Derek had always said I didn't understand high-level finance. I wanted to prove to myself that I did. What I found made my blood run cold. Derek and Alex were running a scheme. They were creating shell companies, moving client money through them, taking cuts along the way. Not huge amounts from each client. Just enough to go unnoticed. Over 5 years, they'd skimmed nearly $2 million. I spent 3 months verifying everything. Every transaction. Every fake company. Every forged signature. I documented it all in a spreadsheet that would make a federal prosecutor weep with joy. And then I waited. Year 10 started with Derek suggesting we renew our vows. Big party, 10th anniversary. Show everyone we're still strong. I said yes. He started planning an elaborate dinner at Atelier Laurent. All our friends. My biggest clients. Let's make it an event. I helped with the guest list. 2 weeks later, Derek added a new item to our shared calendar. Anniversary surprise for M. I wasn't supposed to see it. He'd put it on the wrong calendar. But I did see it. And I knew exactly what it meant. I called my sister that night. Jenny's a family law attorney, top of her field in Los Angeles. I hadn't told her much about my marriage over the years. Hadn't wanted to admit how small I'd become. Jen, I need a lawyer. What happened? Nothing yet. But it's about to. I flew to LA the next weekend. Derek thought I was at a conference. Jenny and I spent 8 hours in her office, going through everything. The post-nuptial agreement he had you sign last year, Jenny said, scanning the document. Did he explain what it was? He said it was just updating our beneficiaries. Madison, this thing gives you almost nothing in a divorce. You'd walk away with maybe $50,000 after 10 years of marriage. I know. You know? I read it before I signed it. I'm a financial analyst, Jen. Of course I read it. Then why did you sign it? I smiled. It was the first genuine smile I'd had in months. Because I needed him to think I was stupid enough to sign it. Jenny stared at me. Then she started to smile too. How do you feel about fraud documentation? I asked. We spent the rest of the weekend building a case. Not just for divorce. For everything. Jenny drafted a real post-nuptial agreement, one that would actually protect me. We backdated it to before Derek's fraudulent version. I signed it with Jenny as witness. It won't hold up if he fights it, Jenny warned. He won't fight it. He'll be too busy dealing with the SEC. You're reporting them? Already did. Last week. They're building a case. They asked me to keep gathering evidence. Jenny sat back in her chair. Who are you and what have you done with my sister? I'm what happens when a forensic accountant gets underestimated for 10 years. 3 weeks before the anniversary, I found out I was pregnant. I sat in my car outside the clinic, staring at the positive test. I hadn't planned this. Derek and I had stopped being intimate months ago. But there had been one night, after a company dinner, when he'd been particularly charming. When I'd let myself hope things might change. I should have known better. For 3 days, I didn't know what to do. A baby would complicate everything. But then I started researching California family law. Started understanding what pregnancy meant in divorce proceedings. Leverage. That's what it meant. I called Jenny. It doesn't change the plan, she said. It makes it better. Document everything. Don't drink. Don't take any medications without doctor approval. You need to be the picture-perfect expectant mother when this hits. He doesn't know yet. Don't tell him. Not until you're ready. At work, I started declining happy hour invitations. I'm just tired, I'd say. Which was true. Pregnancy, exhaustion was real. But it also meant I had more time to document Derek's fraud. The SEC investigator I was working with, a woman named Torres, was impressed with my evidence. You could work for us, she said during one of our secret meetings. I might need a new job soon. We'd be lucky to have you. 2 weeks before the anniversary, Derek came home excited. I booked the private dining room at Atelier. Seats 40. We're going to make this a night to remember. Sounds perfect. I invited Alex and Jessica. My parents. Your parents. My top 5 clients. This is going to be legendary. I smiled. I can't wait. That weekend, I met with Jessica for coffee. We'd never been close. Derek and Alex had kept us separate, probably on purpose. But I'd noticed things over the years. The way she flinched when Alex raised his voice. The way she apologized constantly. The way she'd stopped wearing clothes she liked because Alex didn't approve. Jessica, I need to tell you something. She listened as I explained everything. The fraud. Derek's plan to serve me divorce papers at the anniversary. My counterplan. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. Alex is involved in the fraud? 50-50 partners in it. And you have proof? Boxes of it. Plus SEC testimony. She took a shaky breath. I've been wanting to leave him for 3 years. But he controls everything. Our accounts, our house, even my car is in his name. I have a lawyer who can help you. Why are you telling me this? Because narcissists flock together. But so do survivors. Jessica started crying. Not sad tears. Relief tears. What do you need me to do? The night before the anniversary, I packed the Blac portfolio. Inside, a copy of Jenny's postnuptial agreement, the real one, properly notarized, a flash drive containing every piece of fraud evidence, a letter from the SEC confirming their active investigation, a letter from my lawyer outlining Derek's legal exposure, a sonogram photo, a handwritten note. You always said I didn't understand finance. I'm a forensic accountant. I see fraud for a living. I added one more thing. A printed copy of every demeaning thing Derek had ever said to me, organized by date. 10 years of "you're not smart enough. You don't understand, you're too sensitive." I wanted him to see the pattern. The anniversary dinner started at 7. I arrived early, wearing the red dress Derek hated. I'd done my makeup carefully. Confident. Powerful. Derek's face when he saw me was priceless. Confusion, then annoyance, then forced cheerfulness for the guests who were arriving. "That's quite a dress," he said quietly. "Thank you." I thought it was appropriate for a celebration. My parents arrived. They hugged me, confused by the tension they could feel. Derek's parents arrived and barely acknowledged me. His mother had stopped pretending to like me years ago. Alex and Jessica were the last to arrive. Jessica wore a navy dress that I knew for a fact Alex hated. She caught my eye and smiled. 40 people filled the private dining room. Derek's clients, his colleagues, our families, an audience. Dinner was elegant. 5 courses. Derek kept checking his watch, waiting for the right moment. I knew he'd planned it for dessert. Maximum drama. I excused myself before the 4th course. In the bathroom, I called the coat check. "The Blac portfolio I left with you? Can you have someone bring it to our dining room? I'll text you when." Of course, Miss Hayes. Back at the table, Derek was in full charming mode. Telling stories, making jokes, playing the perfect husband. I watched him perform and felt nothing. Alex was doing the same with Jessica, who smiled tightly and said nothing. Dessert arrived. Chocolate soufflés, Derek's favorite. Derek stood up, wine glass in hand. "I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. 10 years with this woman has been an experience." Polite laughter. Marriage is about growth. About change. About knowing when to evolve. I knew what was coming. "Madison, sweetheart, can you stand up for a moment?" I stood. Derek pulled an envelope from his jacket. "I have something for you." The room went quiet. Someone probably thought it was jewelry. Derek's smile was cruel. "I think it's time we were honest with each other." He handed me the envelope. I opened it calmly. Divorce papers, exactly as expected. The room gasped. My mother made a small sound. Derek's mother looked satisfied. I read the first page carefully. Then the second. Derek watched, waiting for tears. For begging. For me to fall apart in front of 40 people. Instead, I pulled a pen from my clutch. "Do you have a pen?" I asked the nearest guest. Yes? They handed it to me, confused. I flipped to the signature page and signed my name clearly. Dated it. Then I handed the papers back to Derek. "There. All done." His face went blank. "This wasn't the script. You You're just signing them? You said you wanted honesty. Derek, I've been wanting to divorce you for 2 years. This saves me the filing fee. Thank you. The room was dead silent. I texted the coat check, now. 30 seconds later, a server appeared with the Blac portfolio. This was left for Mr. Ashford, the server said. I took it. Actually, it's for Derek and Alex both. Derek, sweetheart, why don't you open your gift? Derek took the portfolio with shaking hands. Alex had gone very pale. Derek opened it. I watched his face as he processed what he was seeing. The color drained away. His hands started to shake. What is this? His voice was barely a whisper. That's documentation of your fraud scheme. Shell companies. Skimmed fees, forged signatures. About $2 million over 5 years. The room erupted. Clients stood up. Derek's father grabbed the portfolio. The flash drive has all the evidence, I continued calmly. The SEC already has copies. So does the California State Bar. So does your malpractice insurance carrier. Alex tried to leave. Jessica stood up and blocked his path. Alex is 50% complicit, I said. Jessica is filing for divorce tomorrow. I helped her find a very good lawyer. Jessica's voice was steady. And I'm testifying against you, Alex. About everything. Derek's biggest client, a venture capitalist named Morrison, stepped forward. Ashford, is this true? Derek couldn't speak. He just stared at the documents. The SEC confirmed it this morning, I said. They'll be issuing a press release Monday. I thought you deserved to hear it first. Morrison threw his napkin on the table. Our contract is terminated. You'll be hearing from our legal team. 3 other clients immediately echoed him. Within 2 minutes, Derek had lost half his client base. My father came to my side. Madison, what's happening? I'm getting divorced, Dad. And I'm pregnant. The gasps this time were different. Softer. I pulled out the sonogram photo. Derek, you're going to be a father. Well, biologically anyway. Legally, you'll have no rights once the fraud conviction goes through. California family law is very clear about parental rights for incarcerated felons. Derek finally found his voice. You can't. This is insane. You're nobody. You don't work. You don't understand. I'm a senior forensic accountant at Whitmore and Associates, I interrupted. I've been in their fraud division for 2 years. I have a 96% conviction rate on cases I build. And Derek? I built this case personally. But you signed the postnup. You gave up everything. I signed your fraudulent postnup. But see, I had my attorney draft a real one 3 months earlier. Properly notarized. Properly filed. Which means your version is invalid due to fraud in execution. Jenny, who'd been sitting quietly with my parents, raised her glass. Jenny Hayes, family law. I did warn you during the consultation that you should have me review any financial documents. You said I was overprotective. Derek's mother stood. This is outrageous. Derek, call our lawyers. Your lawyers will be too busy defending Derek in federal court, I said. But you should call them. They'll need the heads up. I picked up my clutch and the portfolio. I'm leaving now. Derek, you'll be served with the real divorce papers tomorrow. I'm asking for full custody, child support based on your income before you lose your license, and half of all marital assets that aren't currently frozen by the SEC. Everything's frozen, he whispered. Not my separate accounts. The ones I never told you about. The ones I've been building for 2 years. I smiled. You always said I didn't understand money. I understand it just fine. I just let you think I didn't. I turned to the room. I apologize for ruining your evening. The meal is paid for. Please enjoy dessert. My parents followed me out. My father's hand on my shoulder was the first supportive touch I'd felt in years. In the car, my mother finally spoke. How long have you been planning this? 2 years. Why didn't you tell us? Because you would have tried to talk me out of it, tried to get me to leave quietly. This needed to be loud. My father was quiet then. I'm sorry we didn't see what he was doing. It's okay, Dad. He was good at hiding it. 30 days later, I was sitting in my new corner office at Whitmore and Associates. They'd promoted me to Director of Forensic Accounting after the SEC closed Derek's case. Turns out, building an airtight fraud case against your own husband is an impressive resume bullet. Jessica texted me a photo of her new apartment. First place that's just mine. Thank you. I texted back a photo of the nursery I was painting. Soft yellow, warm and happy. Thank you for standing with me. Derek and Alex were both under indictment. Their firm had collapsed. Their licenses were suspended, pending criminal proceedings. Derek's parents had tried to contact me once, asking me to be reasonable about the divorce settlement. Jenny had responded with a letter outlining exactly how unreasonable we could be if they preferred. They didn't contact us again. My baby girl, Sophia, was born on a Tuesday morning in June. She had my eyes and absolutely none of Derek's features, for which I was grateful. The judge had already terminated Derek's parental rights based on his fraud conviction and psychological evaluation. He'd sent one letter from prison. I deleted it without reading it. Torres from the SEC sent flowers. Best investigator I've worked with. Job offer still stands after maternity leave. I was considering it. On Sophia's first night home, I sat in the yellow nursery, rocking her to sleep. She was so small. So perfect. So utterly mine. Your mom was scared for a long time, I whispered to her. Let herself become small and quiet because someone told her she should be. But then she remembered something important. Sophia made a small sound, her tiny hand curling around my finger. Power isn't loud, baby. It's prepared. Through the window, I could see the San Francisco skyline. My city, my life. My choice. I'd spent 10 years being underestimated. Being told I didn't understand. Being made to feel less than. But I'd understood everything. Every manipulation. Every lie. Every cruel comment disguised as a joke. And I'd turned it all into evidence. Tomorrow, I'd start looking at daycares. Interviewing nannies. Planning my return to work. Building the life I wanted for both of us. But tonight, I just held my daughter and felt the weight of silence. Not the silence of submission. The silence of someone who'd said everything that needed to be said. In the black portfolio that destroyed Derek's world, I'd included one final document, a letter. Addressed to him, that he'd find at the very bottom. It said only, "You should have valued me when you had the chance." I didn't need his response. Didn't need his apology. Didn't need anything from him at all. I already had everything I needed. Sophia yawned, settling deeper into sleep. I kissed her forehead and closed my eyes. For the first time in 10 years, I felt completely at peace.